Australia visa ban in 2025, who could be affected, and what does this mean for people dreaming of a life in Australia? In this video, we're diving deep into what a visa ban could look like, who might be impacted, and more importantly, why this drastic step might even be considered. As Australia becomes one of the most sought-after destinations for skilled workers, international students, and tourists, the government's immigration policy faces increased scrutiny. Immigration has long been a major factor in Australia's economic and social fabric, but there are discussions now that by 2025, some significant changes could be on the horizon. So could a visa ban happen in 2025? If so, who might be most affected? Let's break it down. To understand the why, we need to look at the pressures Australia is facing. Population growth has spiked in urban areas, especially Sydney and Melbourne, leading to strains on infrastructure, housing, and healthcare. Some experts argue that limiting immigration, or even pausing certain visas temporarily, could help stabilize the situation. By 2025, there could be a push to control immigration as a tool to manage population density. Other contributing factors could include political shifts, changing labor markets, or even a global recession that pressures Australia to prioritize local employment. We're also seeing more discussions worldwide about nations wanting to maintain resources for their citizens, and Australia is no exception. If this visa ban did happen, who would it affect the most? Let's break it down into 5 key groups that could feel the impact the hardest. 1. Skilled workers. First on the list are skilled workers, since skilled migration has been crucial for Australia's workforce for decades. From IT specialists to healthcare professionals, skilled workers bring valuable expertise. However, if there's a freeze or a cutback, companies may find it harder to fill roles that require specific skills. Skilled workers from fields that Australia already has a surplus in might be the first group affected by a policy change. For fields with high demand, like nursing or engineering, the government could still make exceptions. But overall, 2025 could see stricter criteria, meaning only those with highly specialized skills would be prioritized. 2. International students. Next, we have international students, who make up a huge part of Australia's cultural and economic landscape. In 2025, some student visas might face tougher restrictions, especially in crowded cities like Sydney and Melbourne. The government could prioritise regional education hubs, encouraging students to study outside the big cities. This shift could help balance the population and reduce the strain on urban resources while still allowing international students to pursue education here. 3. Family reunion visas. For many immigrants, bringing family members over to Australia is part of their dream. However, in a climate where visa policies are tightening, family reunion visas might be deprioritized. The government could argue that limiting these visas will help focus on labor-driven visas, aligning with Australia's economic needs. This type of restriction would impact family members waiting to join their loved ones. It's a tough call, as it's not just about policy, but about families wanting to stay connected. 4. Temporary work visas. Now let's talk about temporary work visas. These are issued for seasonal and short-term work, often in industries like agriculture, hospitality, and tourism. While they fulfill vital roles, especially in regional areas, some believe prioritizing citizens for these jobs would help Australia reduce unemployment. If a ban on temporary work visas were considered, this could have a major impact on industries relying heavily on temporary labor. Regional businesses could suffer from workforce shortages, but the government may view this as a necessary trade-off. 5. Refugees and asylum seekers. Australia has a complex history with refugee policies, and any visa ban could place these individuals in a precarious position. There's been talk about stricter border controls, but at the same time, many Australians support humanitarian programs. If a visa policy shift prioritizes economic and skilled migration, refugee programs might see reduced intake. This would spark ethical debates and potentially face opposition from human rights organizations. Is a full visa ban likely? Probably not. Australia's economy is strongly intertwined with immigration. A complete stop on visas would hit key sectors, from tech and education to agriculture. Instead, it's more likely we'd see temporary or targeted restrictions. Another likely outcome could be an increase in regional migration incentives. For example, the government might create new programs encouraging migrants to settle in less populated areas, balancing population growth while still benefiting from immigration. Stricter immigration laws are a possibility, even though a total ban on visas may not be imminent. International students, skilled professionals, and families seeking to get back together may be impacted by these rules. For the time being, anyone considering moving to Australia should keep up with any possible policy changes. Thank you for watching. For further information on Australia's immigration trends, kindly like and subscribe if you found this video useful. And tell us in the comments whether your plans would change if visas were banned in 2025.